earthly hour of the morning. How are you this morning? Have you got over Tuesday night?
Yeah, it took a couple of days. Definitely needed some rest and recovery after it. I'm sure the players did as well. I mean, I can't imagine the physical drain on them, but certainly mentally it was a tiring night.
I don't know about the physical drain on the players. What about the physical drain on the poor press? I mean, I was sat at home listening to that. I didn't know what was going on half the time. Penalties getting missed and everything else. But what a game, though, Darren. I mean, you must have been well pleased with the result at the end of the day after such a traumatic occasion.
Yeah, look, my only criticism, I said this Tuesday night, my only criticism really is that we didn't finish the chances that we created during 90 minutes. I thought it was excellent for 88, 89 minutes. Very much the better team. I saw Brian said that he felt second half they were a better team. Absolutely no chance. Not a chance in hell. We were very good. And then just that little slip at the end. And then Joe takes us through the emotional rigours by missing a penalty, where Addy did brilliant, by the way, made it out of nothing. And then you start to think, okay, well, we've got to go through this bit now. And the great news for us is that Grant is a fantastic goalkeeper and very agile and almost thrives on those occasions.
How bad were the conditions from a rain point of view? I mean, did that make a big difference? No. Was it a big leveller?
No. It wasn't that bad. It just, under the floodlights, it looked like it was blowing a gale and torrential rain. It wasn't that bad. Honestly. But it was, it was good. It kept the game nice and quick. The pitch was very quick. So that helped us because we've got some good athletes and some very mobile and agile individuals, and that sort of slick surface helped us. And again, I thought we created some really good opportunities.
Out of interest, did you practice penalties before the game or not?
No, we just try and add them into the week. Normally, I try and add them if I can, on a Tuesday, because I know that sounds ironic. Because it's normally the most taxing day. So what I try and recreate when I always work on penalties is get them to a really fatigued point in the practice, and then make them take the penalties and fatigue and that trial and the leggy sort of state you're in when you finish extra time. So we just do it. We try and do it on a Tuesday just to add some pressure, a little bit of competitiveness. But we'd not just them on Monday, no.
I mean, how much of a change do you see in the squad now? I mean, it's not been the greatest last few games, but suddenly, you get a booster like that. I mean, have you noticed it in training? Are they well up for Grimsby now?
Yeah, see, I don't really get the whole recent game thing. The expectation on this group is too high. It's far too high, and these young lads, this is why we get to 88, 89 minutes and they have to go through this process of trying to keep clean sheets, because the pressure on them, and they know it because social media and the media are all around us. And articles fly out and things too. This team is exactly where it should be. To think the only other comparable team really right now is Aldershot to us. So, in terms of all of the kind of all of the terms, all of the methods being consistent, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. It's just that's where this team is. It's not a ready-made winning team. It's not going to, that team, that group of players, minus Mark Little, Luke Wilkinson, Ruben Reid, Mitchell Rose, they're not ready to go and win week in, week out and be top of the league. They're learning their trade. It's a 22-year-old team. That's what this is. So I don't really buy into all of that recent game rubbish. The expectations far too high, and the pressure on these young men is far too much. In
no,
my
that
opinion.
you would like after such a dramatic win, shall we say? I mean, you've got to go to the top of the table team.
Yeah, it's a proper football club. It's a proper football club. It's us, only from a relegated state. It's us 2 years ago when we came down. Still got a large emphasis on football league experience in the team, and it's a proper old-fashioned traditional football club. Whenever my teams in the past have played at Grimsby, I've always enjoyed it. I've been beaten there. I've won there. You go through all of those types of things. They're in great form at the minute. They have real momentum with the crowd, and Paul's done a good job getting off the mark quickly after coming down. And I, for one, know how difficult that is to pick a club up that's been relegated and get the thing moving again. And Paul's done brilliant at that. And again, it'll be a new experience. Probably be the biggest crowd some of these chaps have played in front of, and they can be quite vociferous, the Grimsby crowd. So it'll be interesting to see how the players react. But no, they're fine. They love Tuesday. I mean, the drama of it and the songs at the end, and they love all that. I mean, who doesn't? If you haven't been involved in that before, and all you've done is play on training grounds like some of them have, to then go and play in them games, penalty shoots out, missed penalties, all those things. The crowd at the end, brilliant, absolutely brilliant experience for them.
You constantly speak of the camaraderie between the players and what have you. Presumably going away, staying overnight would do everything just help that on its way further.
They're weird. This generation. They all they do is phones. That's all they want. I mean, it's not like the old days where we used to sit around the table and play cards and have loads of quizzes after dinner and things. They just want to go and watch Netflix and play on computer games. I mean, they're the most unsociable generation for 100 years. But they're good fun. They're good fun on the bus. Excuse me. There's a few dopes in there as well that come out with some absolute worldies. But no, they're great to be around. They are a very, very strong group, but they're all living together. They're all with each other day in, day out anyway. So another night in a hotel probably doesn't add anything, just because of the fact that Yeovil's at the arse end of nowhere, and we all have to live down by our job. So they got that bond anyway. They've got that bond, and no, they'll be. I don't think they'll feel as a Grimsby, the football club, until they're there tomorrow.
Talking of Netflix, which we weren't, I was watching Netflix last night, and who should come on in a film? I think it was called Body of Lies. But Yeovil Town on the television, there was like a scene where the kids were watching the TV in Kuwait, I think it was, somewhere like that. And who should come on but Yeovil Town, would you believe? Unbelievable. Anyway, enjoy the fish and chips down there, mate, because apparently they're quite good. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Bring 3 points back for us, will you?
Yeah, just for you. No one else.
Thank you, mate. Thanks a lot, Darren. See you soon.
See you, mate.
Morning, Darren. How are you doing?
I'm okay. You?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. I know you probably want to see a few more of them, but is it good to see, the likes of Wakefield and Worthington chipping in with goals?
Of course. I mean, with Matthew's running power in particular, it's that to his game. He started doing that in year one. Thought he came away from it last year, but he made a brilliant run into the box Saturday in the first game and volleyed over, and he obviously made a very good run Tuesday night. It was a wonderful ball by Barnett, but before that, the forwards had 3 chances to score. So, I think that being the point is that our attacking players, our forward players, Sonny, Joe, Addy, Charlie Wakefield at the minute, Ben Seymour, they've got to start taking these chances. It's a centre forward that doesn't take chances is not a centre forward, is it? It's not. It's a winger or a central midfield. That's what they are. So, we've got to start taking more chances because we're creating them now. I mean, there's no doubt about that. If we weren't creating chances before, we definitely are now. And just given us a bit of something different with his untamed pace and his movement. His movement's been very good for someone who's never played centre forward. And obviously Sonny was key to everything Tuesday night. So, but no, I was pleased for Matthew. Brilliant guy, Matthew. Really brilliant guy, and he's having to step probably 3 or 4 years before his time into a a little bit more of an established role. There was a moment Saturday where I think Seymour didn't play Knowles in, chose to shoot. He could have slipped him in for Knowles to go 1v1 with the goalkeeper. And I saw Matthew's reaction to Ben, and he started to look like he was stepping into those senior boots. So that was really good. I like it when players change the way they see themselves and their self-worth. I think they're big moments in their careers.
And obviously just how you won on Tuesday and looking at the draw in a couple of weeks' time, is the potential to quite a decent...
You never know. It's you just never know. Honestly, I wish I had the crystal ball in football, but it's we had. It was a really important game Tuesday night, not because it was FA Cup. It was Weymouth. Let's make no bones about it. It'll be the same in the league. So these games are really important. It keeps our record intact. I think over the 3 years, we've only lost one derby, which was away at Torquay last year, and it means we've kept a pretty decent record against our nearest and dearest, and they're important. They're important games, and the reaction of the fans was incredible. And like I said, those young lads, they lap that sort of stuff up, and they probably needed it. They've been booed off 4 times, so they probably needed a clap, and they to be clapped. I wanted to clip a couple of them across the back of the head at the end, but they took me and Terry on a real journey Tuesday night. But no, good for them. It's nice that they can have that moment.
And just finally for me, you were asking earlier in the season to play more games. You've now walked into a relentless October. How difficult it's going to be to keep the squad going through that?
Got no choice. It's our job, and we have to keep going through it. It is what it is. We're very short again at the minute, very, very short. So it'll be interesting what sort of state the bench is in tomorrow. But the young people, they came to Yeovil to play. The reason we got these young lads, these athletic players, is they wanted the opportunity to start building profiles of their own in their career. Wanted to play minutes. and we have to keep working through that. But I always think Worthington and Wakefield are a good kind of benchmark of fatigue, because I think when you see Matthew and Charlie tired, I think the rest of them would be suffering, because Charlie and Matthew are astonishing athletes, absolutely astonishing. And we had to take Matthew off with cramp in the Saturday game, and we had to take Wakefield off with cramp in the Tuesday game. So they're working very, very hard, and at some point it will take its toll, of course. I just hope that there is some sort of replenishment around the corner, whether that be with recruitment or whether it be with some of the injured players getting back, just to give them that little bit of help, because that's all they need now. That group, they need Little, Reed, Wilkinson, and them.
Hi Darren, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you very much for asking. Can we just talk about specific players? I think last week Luke Wilkinson, Morgan Williams edging closer. How are they progressing? I'm assuming what you just said, Saturday's too soon.
Yeah, I think so. Morgan's a weird one because of it was a land in a game, the way he landed and his knee rocked. So we're having to be quite careful with Morgan. And his season's been very stop-start so far. Luke is progressing. Luke could be okay for next week for Solihull, maybe a push. Alex Bradley could be okay for Tuesday, maybe. it's coming in short, but you know the key ones are those established experienced men, especially Reedy and Mark, and Lou's obviously quite close, but Reedy and Little will be December. No time sooner than that. So that's, like I said, we've just got to make sure we're in a suitable position for when they return, because then we really feel that we'll have a team that could, you know, where the expectation can rise a little bit. It can be you have to win the lion's share of your games. I get that, but right now these young lads are carrying the torch for us, and they're doing a brilliant job, absolutely brilliant job. And like I said, I just think the expectation on these people is too high at the moment, far too high.
Yeah, any update on Dion Pereira, Mitch Rose? Are they in your thoughts this weekend?
No, Mitchell is still struggling with his hamstring. Dion went back to Luton, so I don't think we'll see Dion again.
Okay, and I caught the end of your interview with Sheridan on Tuesday. Toby Stephens, just from a human level, how is he in his family?
Toby's very, very fortunately, his dad's back at home, which is great. Which is obviously a really good sign. Toby's going to take a few days with his family, which is perfectly natural, and hopefully we'll have Toby back by Monday, and hopefully his dad progresses over the weekend and can get himself back up on his feet, and and we see his dad and obviously Toby daily at work, and now look, we send him our best. We're as we've alluded to so many times, there's such a tight group, and I would like to think probably the proudest part of my time at Yeovil is that we do look after our own here, and has a moment, an illness, we do rally round, and we're very good at that here because we've got some fantastic human beings that actually give a damn about people. So now he's progressing, which is great news, and great news for Toby, and how he sees things, and getting him back in to work with us.
And it is a world of ifs, buts, and maybes. But if you can get a fully fit squad, I know Mark Little example. I know him very well. He's a really good player. If you can get players like that fit, do you think you can realistically challenge for the playoffs this season?
Yes. Yeah. If we can get them in our team, the team now, and we can resemble, we know the difference Wilkinson made just on his own. It's fact. There's no point beating around the bush. Wilkinson coming back in the team's a massive lift for us. It's a massive boost for us. So all of these, we've just got to make sure we stay under the radar. We keep ourselves in a competitive state. We've got so many games on everyone else still, and we get ourselves in a position that when they return over that Christmas period, that we can have a run and a jump of it. I've been 17th in League Two at the end of February, and in the top 4 at the beginning of April. So it's unbelievable once you get momentum with a team good enough, and that and that's what we'll be striving for. But absolutely, and I think there'll be more recruitment along the way. There always is. Normally January, we pick up a few as well. So, but the market's been very tight in recruitment this year. Talking before we got the presser going, and the Championship had such a poor market, a poor window this year, that the reverberation down was huge. So there's not a great deal available out there, but I'm sure in January, when people start pressing the panic button and trying to make their last sort of sprint finish for the finishing line, there'll be a little bit more movement.
And you're looking very relaxed at the moment. It's a 300-mile journey ahead of you today. What's the game plan when you're taking on the league leaders? Their home record, 5 wins out of 5. Do you change your game plan, or do you concentrate on what you can do best?
We have no choice. We have to concentrate on us. We haven't got the flexibility and the resource in our squad to chop and change and to confuse people. We have to just concentrate on being us. the games are very simple. We'll put Grant Smith in extra time on Tuesday night. If he doesn't make that save, we don't get penalties. Look at Adi Yusuf getting a penalty. It's a 1v1. So as long as we try and take care of all of the sort of nooks and crannies of a game, which are duels, tackling, covering ground, sprinting, all of those really, really boring basic things, there is quality in this group that can open teams up. And, you know, we saw that with Sonny on Tuesday night. He's got fantastic quality, and he has the capability to slide someone in or produce a moment of real quality. So I wish we had something more interesting to say, like, you know, we can adapt and play this shape or that shape. We can't. We just have to make sure we roll them out there as confident and as motivated as possible and as fit as possible, and have a right old go. So it'll be a tough game. Like I said, it's a real tough place to go, but they should enjoy it. 5,000, very, very vocal, and you know, they'll be trying to scare the life out of these young lads.
And just finally, we can smile about it because you won, but Tom Knowles went a bit viral with this penalty. Have the lads had a bit of banter with him? I think he's been trying to track down the steward, who thankfully is okay after the ball hit him in the face.
Yeah, but the steward kept walking behind the goal during the penalties.
It's back to it, didn't he? He wasn't looking.
Well, yeah, but he kept walking. When you can't, I mean, the referee made us retake a penalty because a silly fan threw a bottle on just, you know, before they took it. I mean, they'd have missed all 5 if that didn't happen. So you can't have people walking behind the goal during penalties. You can't have people. What is going on here? Aid, what is that? Is that one of your dodgy websites, Aid?
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, are you making a serious point that was the steward possibly putting players off by being so close to the goal?
He's got a high-vis jacket on. He's walking behind the goal. I mean, he's you know. Anyway, look, I hope he's okay. Tom hits the ball at some rate, and yeah, it wasn't a very good penalty by Tom, and I think you saw his reaction afterwards. He was dismayed, but listen, we won the game, and you know, Tom Knowles or Dale Gorman, they're a very, very small part as long as we win. You know, it's all about the group winning, and I think that's really important. And like I said, beating Weymouth again was a massive one.
Have a good trip. Thank you.
You're right.
Yeah, very good,
mate. Just regarding the penalties, did they put their hands up themselves? Did you have to kind of pick and choose them, or did they stand up and say, "I'll take one, I'll have one"?
We knew the order. We knew
Okay.
the order. We had the order in our mind, and everyone was happy with the order. Number 6 was going to be Grant Smith.
Okay.
So because he's got wonderful technique and he's a flamboyant so-and-so, especially in training. So he was going to be number 6 if we needed to. Luckily, we didn't need Joe as well. So,
so Joe was going to be number 5?
Joe was going to be 5. Quigley was 5. Smith was 6.
What does that say about him being prepared to say, yeah, I'll quite happily, even though you've just missed the 121st minute penalty to send us through? What does that say about his character? A, to take that penalty in the first place, at 120 minutes, but then to say, yeah, no, I'll
he's
take
forward. He's got to. You know, this is. If I'm a plumber and I go to a house on a call and I make a mistake on the pipe, I can't shirk going around there and fixing it. You know, you got to get back out there. And listen, Joe, I thought the penalty was a brilliant save by the goalkeeper. Yeah. I mean, right in the corner, it was low. It wasn't that nice waist height type penalty. It was a very good save, and you know, Joe's record this year has been pretty good. He could definitely do with a goal now, Joe. But like I said, these individuals, they're insignificant to the team winning. You know, I'm a huge advocate of. I'm a huge advocate of how small a part you've got to play for an organisation to win. no, Joe was fine. Joe was a player. Give him a whack on his chin, but but no, we got there in the end. I've never seen. I mean, let's talk about the quality of the penalties. I mean, 6 missed in 9. I mean, that's crap, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean,
What?
let's talk. I mean, we're not. It's not a penalty at the San Siro. You're not doing it at Galatasaray. We're doing it away at Weymouth, and they're in their home ground. So, I think sometimes there are moments in these games where you see the quality that is or isn't there, and that was 6 out of 9 missed. I mean, the goalkeeper. I think the goalie's only made 1 save out of those. I think the rest were proper misses. So, from 12 yards now in professional football, it's staggering. But listen, we came out the right side, and like I said, that's all that matters.
He's come up a couple of times actually, but Grant Smith. It was pointed out that he was a little bit cheeky following the final whistle of the actual game itself. But aside from his questionable 140th minute booking or whatever it was after that game, he's been a bit of an unsung hero this season, hasn't he? He's quietly gone about his job in a decent defensive setup. He's been a really good, solid acquisition for us, hasn't he?
Excellent, really excellent. Again, very low maintenance. I think he's a brilliant taker of the ball from crosses. I actually want him to do it more, but Tuesday night he did it perfectly. Big punch early on. The player should have been booked for the late challenge. He did another one into extra time. Player should have been booked. I mean, everyone talks about our disciplinary. Blimey. I mean, it was in. I think the game, when you see reactions like Grant's after the game, that's an accumulation of expectation, pressure, nervous energy, relief, gratitude. I think that's all those things, the things that go on the pitch that people don't see, the words that are exchanged between players. I think it's a lot of things. I mean, it's when you win, it's highly hilarious. I mean, if we'd have lost the game and their goalie would have done that, I'm sure I wouldn't be having a giggle right now. But we got to go. I said to them after the game, I said, we've had a lovely moment with the supporters, and now let's be professional in and around the change room, because we've got to come back here. And they got to come back to us, and there's no need to fuel revengeful motivation, because that's quite a powerful emotion to bring to a game. Let's be professional. Let's not be an amateur, and let's go about our business, getting on the coach and getting off back to our life. So, no, it was excellent. I mean, the saving extra time I thought it was a bad finish by a good ship, but it was a big moment and a big save.
Someone else that you've highlighted as well, Jordan Barnett. You said you wanted to see him a little bit further forward. You got to see that on Tuesday night in a proper capacity. Started ahead of Robinson on that left side. How have you been impressed with him in that slightly more attacking role? Yeah,
I think what it does is when you want to utilise someone like Sonny, for example, you have to kind of wrap them up, give them some protection. And Jordan's so tenacious and aggressive. I don't think it matters where Jordan plays. There's very little grey in Jordan's game. I'm the nearest man to the ball. I'm going to get out there. If I can use force to rob him of such privilege, then I will. And he's got a beautiful technical ability on that, as we saw for the goal. And I just thought in the rain and the night and what it meant and what derbies mean. I mean, fans want to see shots, blocks and tackles. They don't want to see anything else in a derby. So I think I thought he was excellent. I thought he gave real balance to our team as well. It was a nice balance in that 3. He enjoys it because he's unrestricted in that role. He can wander around and go and find different areas of the pitch. But when he plays left back, when the ball's on the right hand side, he normally takes up that position. He steps in quite high and quite narrow, Jordan, which is an unusual trait for a young fullback. But so he's sometimes in those areas anyway, which always kind of provoked my thought around him playing there. I put him on against Maidenhead in front of Robinson, and I thought he was excellent, giving us width. For the team, Jordan, he's a brilliant team player, so committed, loves Yeovil, absolutely loves this football club already. And he needed a break, I felt, after 5-6 games. I thought he'd kind of run his race, his first part of his race. And bringing him out just stirred his cockles a little bit to get back into real form. And I thought it was great. And like I said, what Matthew and he do is they really protect Sonny, and they allow Sonny then to go and be the player he is. So it's all about balance. Whenever you're picking a team, you're always trying to find balance. And on Tuesday night, we got that right. And like I said, really, the game should have been 3-4-1 comfortably, absolutely comfortably. And we shouldn't have had the drama of extra time, where I thought in extra time we were useless. And these were only just a little bit better.
You talked about the squad being a little bit thin at the moment with a few extra injuries and obviously fatigue and the number of games and stuff. You have got a few loans that are actually coming up. Dan Moss, I think, has only got 3 games left. Seymour and Dyer have only got 3 games left. I think Dion Pereira's loan technically would take him to a 4th extra game. Have any discussions begun regarding extensions or replacements or anything like that on those 4?
I phoned Millwall for Dan Moss after 1 week of him starting with us. So
okay, there
will be a strong possibility that he certainly will be staying with us. He's really enjoyed his time. Why wouldn't he? He's a young man and he's playing senior football. That's what they want when they're that age. And he's getting lots and lots of game time in Mark's absence. And he's been fantastic, Mossy. And I liked where he was Tuesday with his attacking play. He was a lot more aggressive in his decision making. So no, I thought he was good Tuesday. So Moss that's a discussion we're already having. But I would like to think he'd stay with us. He can't play for. He can't go anywhere else. He can't go in the league before the window. So I'd like to think he would want to stay with us until January, and Millwall would be happy with his game time. I think Seymour, because of the nature of Seymour and Jordan's loan from Exeter, that will go right to the wire. And then I think Matt Taylor will obviously have that discussion in-house as to whether he needs those bodies back before we get a choice whether we would like those bodies back. They've both been very, very good around the squad since they've been in. Jordan Dyer is a fantastic attitude. And on just obviously so yeah, those two are a little bit later on. What was it? I'm not sure we'll see Dion again. I think Dion will probably stay at Luton now.
Cool. And finally then, for me, you've got a very long coach journey ahead of you. If the players are all on tablets and music, what is Darren Sarll doing? Are you books, podcasts, or is it story time with Skivo?
Story time. He's boring. He ain't got a story. No, I actually came north yesterday to the CPD event because we knew the Thursday the recovery session that we had Wednesday meant that they had a day off on Thursday. So I'm on Zoom because of I stayed in the north overnight. Sorry, not in the north. Everything's north of Yeovil, in the Midlands overnight. And Spencer's Park, and I'll meet them. We're training at Rotherham today, 2:00. We'll train at Rotherham and then make the very short trip over to Grimsby. So that's the benefit of having 19 clubs in your career, is that you can ring them up and train at their training grounds before you play someone. But no, normally on the coach, I work. I use it as a real opportunity to get everyone in the same place. Where from my development background, I go through lots and lots of clips with players, try and do some, like in any job, some performance reviews, see where they're at, see where they're at mentally. Unfortunately, I can't sit there and watch 2 episodes of whatever the latest TV program series is. So No, we work. Terry's position analysis, set plays, and things like that. So Terry normally works. If Terry reads a book, he reads one. We keep him away from the book. He's colouring in book, and then we. But yeah, I like that, so I can pull Dale Gorman to one side, sit there, watch his footage, go through some of his, decision making. He made a brilliant decision Saturday for Wakefield's goal, just spotting the ball and playing it. He does that a lot now. I really like that development since I worked with Dale. So I think they're all really good. And like I said, they're in everyone's job. Who doesn't want feedback? Who doesn't want direction? Who doesn't want clarity? And especially in young people that, there's a lot of low knees. We need to make sure that they're coming and they're getting regular communication. The one thing no one will ever criticise me about with players is talking, because I can talk nonsense for hours, absolute hours.